Okay, today I'm going to be tackling the biggest mystery of Five Nights at Freddy's. No, not that one. Not that one either. Okay, I'm talking about Sister Location. When does it take place? Why is Michael there? And what is his relationship to his father? And how is it that the game that gives us the most clear answer as to who we're playing as, his relationship to the killer, and how the main animatronic gets possessed is the most difficult to place on a timeline? Real talk? I put out a poll asking what theory you wanted me to cover next. This is the one I was hoping wouldn't be picked. Because I have an answer that fits with my interpretation of the timeline. But it's definitely the part of my timeline that I'm the least confident in. And when the Help Wanted 2 trailer dropped, I pretty much decided that I was going to put off theorizing about Sister Location until after that game comes out, hoping it would give some more answers. But it's a popular topic to talk about. I had to give you the choice, and here we are. So at least if somehow it turns out I'm correct, and that's somehow confirmed in Help Wanted 2, I have this as evidence that I called it. But just know that I am fully prepared to rework all of this once that comes out. Okay. Let's start with the straightforward evidence. 1. Circus Baby's Pizza World opened for a day some time ago, and Elizabeth Afton was killed by Circus Baby. The Funtime animatronics had some questionable design choices, including voice mimicking and storage tanks. Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals opened after the closure of a Freddy Fazbear's location. Michael is an adult, so this has to at least be after the events of the FNAF 4 minigames. He's following instructions from his father, but then the game ends with him saying he's going to come find him. So clearly they aren't in super close contact. William worked at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in 1987 where he killed 5 more kids. So we know for sure that he was not spring-trapped at this time. In the survival logbook, the cast of Circus Babies is featured, as well as in Help Wanted and the Pizzaplex. So we know that it had to have been under the umbrella of Fazbear Entertainment. Michael references exotic butters and casual bongos in the survival logbook. So he had possession of it after Sister Location. By the time of Pizzeria Simulator in 2023, Ennard is no longer inside Michael and has broken off into Scrap Baby and Molten Freddy. Henry lured Molten Freddy to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place to be burned and release the souls inside him. Okay, I think those are the main points, but let me know if I missed anything. Now let's move on to the more subjective evidence. Elizabeth's bedroom is empty in the FNAF 4 minigames, possibly implying that she's already dead at this time. However, the fact that there is a toy mangle on the floor of the bedroom, to me, makes it look lived in. And I feel like if she were dead at this time, then the room would either be pristine, maybe covered in dust, or would be non-existent. In FNAF 1 and 2, someone we're fairly confident is Michael is fired for odor. And this could definitely line up with him being a skin suit held together by remnants. But it could also be a joke, especially since Scott didn't have that all in mind when he wrote that in. However, it could be something that started as a joke that he then gave greater meaning to. So we can't rule it out, but we can't use it as evidence on its own. And lastly, I know that not everyone believes Molten MCI, but personally, I find it really difficult to dispute. I mean, in the novels, we see Funtime Freddy being injected with remnant from the missing children. And FNAF 6 is all about bringing everyone back together and putting all the souls to rest, even though it fails. You have Henry and William, Michael, Elizabeth, Charlie, and you have to have the missing children too, who would be inside Molten Freddy. So if I'm saying that Molten MCI is canon, does that mean that Sister Location has to take place after FNAF 1, where we see Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy? I ran some polls on here and on Reddit, and that was definitely the most popular answer, by far. And in some ways, it does make a lot of sense. Michael was his father's puppet. I mean, this is perfectly illustrated in this poster in FNAF 6. So, he went to the pizzerias on his father's orders, just like we see him go to Circus Baby's entertainment and rental with instructions from his father. Sometime after FNAF 1, William tears apart the original animatronics and injects the fun times with remnant of the missing children. But then he gets springtrapped, and Michael goes to finish his work. Only he gets to see the consequences of his father's experiments up close and personal, and decides that he's done being his father's puppets. So, he goes to Fazbear Fright to end things once and for all. It's a great narrative, and it fits with pretty much all the evidence that we have. But I'm not satisfied. In FNAF 3, Fondue says that he found Springtrap in a room that had been boarded up. In the same game, we hear old phone guy tapes say that the safe rooms were sealed off sometime after the Spring Bonnie suit was used in the missing children's incidents. And while it's true that this could have been any time between the MCI and phone guy's death, William can't have ended up sealed in the safe room if he was springtrapped after the FNAF 1 location closed. The room was already sealed up by this point. Not to mention, how did the fun times get injected with remnants when William died collecting it? So, now things get complicated. And there's something else that I want to throw out there. At the end of FNAF 2, Fazbear Entertainment scrapped the toys due to the Bite of 87 incidents, but kept the original animatronics to fix and reopen in the future. But the animatronics in FNAF 1 are different. They're very similar, and definitely use pieces of the originals, but they're different designs. And look at the animatronics in the Follow Me minigame. Freddy and Bonnie have buttons, and Foxy's legs have been fixed. These are the original animatronics, repaired, just like Fazbear Entertainment said they would be. That places Follow Me between FNAF 2 and FNAF 1. So, let's go back a bit and get the full story. Come 1985, William has lost his youngest son, lashed out and killed Henry's daughter, and Fredbear's Family Diner has closed. I think it likely that Henry stepped away from the company by this point, much like we see Edwin do in The Mimic after the death of his child. And this is when William makes the conscious decision to start killing. I talked in my Missing Children's Incident video about how I think there was a death that kicked this off outside of the 5 missing children. And maybe that was what prompted this, or maybe he already had it in mind and that kill was just a practice run. But he decides to open his own pizzeria with animatronics designed to assist in his newest hobby of murder. By designing animatronics to lure and capture the children for him, he thinks it's a foolproof way to avoid detection. Or maybe he just modified animatronics that he stole from Henry, or one animatronic that he stole from Henry, because FNAF is starting to convince me. I'm going to need to do a whole other video on the origin of the fun times, aren't I? Anyway, William pitches the idea of Circus Baby's Pizza World to the Fazbear Entertainment Board of Directors, as we hear at the beginning of Sister Location.
There are just certain design choices that were made for these robots that we don't fully understand. We were hoping that you could shed some light on those.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
But on the opening day, his daughter ended up alone in the room with Circus Baby. She was programmed to count the number of children and to act when it got down to 1. That was why William had warned Elizabeth to stay away from her. But she hadn't listened, and William lost another child and another pizzeria. And I know it seems kind of weird to think that William killed with the fun times first, which is another reason why I think there was a mystery victim that we haven't seen yet that happened in the middle. But Circus Baby's Pizza World had to open before the missing children's incidents. Why? Because in Sister Location, Circus Baby says that there was a spring lock suit from her old pizzeria. From the phone guy tapes in FNAF 3, it seems pretty clear that the missing children's incidents occurred after the spring lock failure, from the way that he was talking about the spring Bonnie suit being moved. So then, why would Circus Babies have a spring lock suits unless they hadn't been discontinued yet? So it's after the closure of Circus Baby's Pizza World that the animatronics are moved to William's bunker, the missing children's incident occurs, and Freddy's locations begin to shut down from the bad press, the location where the incident occurred being left to rot, as we hear in FNAF 2. Fazbear Entertainment isn't sure at this point if they'll ever be able to reopen Freddy's, so they turn their attention to Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. It has moderate success and helps the company image. So in 1987, they tried to open another Freddy's location. When William hears about this, he goes to take a job as a night guard, but wait, what? The animatronics are walking around and trying to kill him, almost acting like they recognize him. So he moves to the day shift, but his mind is still reeling. He kills 5 more kids to see how the animatronics will react. He wants to get back in the next day to take a closer look at these animatronics and possibly run some experiments. But he's a person of interest and they won't let him in.
From what I understand, the building is on lockdown, no one is allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees.
So he goes quiet. And when the now closed Freddy starts looking for a night guard, he instructs the son that was always so eager to please to apply. Michael only works there for a night because he was caught tampering with the animatronics, the stench of death clinging to him as he took pieces from the old withered models. But he got his dad what he wanted, a few pieces of metal from each of the animatronics. So yes, I do agree with MatPat that we work in the pizzeria after it's shut down. The fact that that's the case in the movie and the discrepancy between Phone Guy saying summer job and the November paychecks, it just makes it fit really well. And it also doesn't cause a ripple effect to mess up anything else, so I'm good believing it. So William melts down the metal that he got from his son and injects it into the fun times. And just to be clear here, yes, I do believe soul splitting to be a thing. It's in the books, and it just makes the most sense. William realizes that these animatronics want to kill him, and it's not safe for him to be in the bunker anymore. So he sends Michael instead to finish up his work, telling him that he'll be saving his sister. And we all know how that went. Michael got scooped, and William lost an ally. But it's William, so he cared way more about losing his experiments. But all was not lost, because Freddy Fazbear's Pizza had reopened with the original repaired animatronics. And this time, William intended to take all the metal from them, robbing them of the only thing they had, again. But he didn't expect the spirits to gang up on him, and he really didn't expect hiding in his spring bunny suit to backfire. Not about to expose themselves to even more bad press, Fazbear Entertainment sealed up the safe rooms, both here and at their other abandoned locations. Then they rebuilt the animatronics, using what parts they could salvage from the originals. Once Michael was free of Ennard, he came looking for his father. But with the safe room sealed up, he never found him. He investigated the animatronics to see if there was any sign his father had been there, and this time, the odor he was fired for was because he was a rotting corpse. Is it the most clean solution? No, but I think it fits. Let me know what you think. Stay hyper and keep theorizing, friends.